What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, there's going to be one purpose, and that is the title of the video, Litecoin will hit $2,000 buy. And I'm going to give some very compelling arguments, only based on the charts. It's really based only on that, as to when and why Litecoin will hit $2,000. And it may shock you. Now, before we start the video, there are some obvious things I have to say. Of course, this isn't financial advice. This is my opinion. This is based on what I'm looking at. Only trade and buy at your own risk. As well, I normally don't make these kind of videos, but this one just got me super excited. I'm super excited to share it with you guys. I use a lot of indicators that I never used before. So let's make the video. And before we get into it, if you're new, make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on post notifications, and we're going to jump into the video. So here's Litecoin, and I have Litecoin kind of pulled away to the side there, so you don't see everything that I have up there right now. I want to get into Litecoin, but before we do, we really do have to talk about Bitcoin first, because this is heavily what I based a lot of this on. I think it's smart to base it for every cryptocurrency, any price analysis on Bitcoin, of course, in particular Litecoin, because of how closely tied they are together in their relationship and their functionality. So here we have Bitcoin, and as many of you probably know, many of you in the space, you've probably heard this before, how the Bitcoin runs are getting smaller percentage-wise. So like the last run was, I believe it was like, I have it measured here, from all-time high to all-time high, which was about $1,000 to $20,000. It was roughly a 1,500% gain for Bitcoin. Other coins gained a lot more percentage-wise, obviously because they had smaller market caps and everything, but for Bitcoin that was the case. And the previous run was about double than that, so on and so forth. So it seems to be getting smaller and smaller from each all-time high to all-time high. Obviously, though, that's just kind of common sense. As the market cap grows, it gets harder. Not harder, but there's only a certain amount of money in the world. When Bitcoin went from a penny to, say, $1,000, that's a huge percentage gain, probably more than percentage gains we'll ever see for Bitcoin ever again. We're not going to see Bitcoin go from $20,000 to $1 trillion per coin. It just obviously is a ridiculous number. It wouldn't make any sense. There's some debate on Bitcoin going to $1 million. That's a lot more reasonable. I personally believe that. I do think that's a possibility, given some circumstances. Again, with that being a circumstance, Bitcoin would obviously at that point probably be a default currency in a lot of ways, and the US dollar probably wouldn't have much value. So that 1 million comparison to 1 BTC comparison would be kind of weird, because people might not necessarily be using USD as much or at all, or other currencies at all, depending on if a country falls first. Again, we've already seen that with Venezuela and everything. But anyway, besides my point, as well as the percentage gains getting smaller, there's an argument that's made that the time between bull runs is actually getting smaller as well. What does that mean? Basically that the bull runs are happening quicker and quicker, or at least that's what they've done in the past. Does that mean that'll continue forever? No. Does it mean it might still continue for the next one bull run, maybe two bull runs? Absolutely. I think that's definitely a possibility, so that's why we're talking about it. So we have Bitcoin here, and from all-time high of 2013, which was the peak of not the last bull run, but the peak of the previous bull run. So from the all-time high of that bull run to the next time that it reached that price again, was roughly about 1,100 days. Once it did touch that again, it bounced off and had to touch it again, and it broke it, and that was obviously 2017 in the bull run, right? So there's also an argument out there that again, like I just mentioned about a minute ago, that the length between the times of the bull runs is getting smaller as well. So basically what I did here on this chart, and again, this has to relate to Litecoin. I'm going to take this data over and kind of show it for Litecoin. We're going to factor in the halving as well for Litecoin, which is coming up in just about, only about 2 months now at this point. It's actually coming very quickly. And here, this box represents from the previous all-time high, which was in 2013 here, right around that $1,100, $1,200, to the new all-time high, which is right around $20,000. So from that was about a 14 to 1,500% gain right here. Now, what I have based on here is the same thing, but halved a little bit, just cut in half really. So you cut down the percentage gain of what the next all-time high will be. And again, I'm going to kind of transpose this idea as well as some other things onto Litecoin to kind of put something with Litecoin. However, something we have to factor in with Litecoin is the obvious, for many, apparent undervaluedness of Litecoin, meaning Litecoin should already be more valued than it is. It's almost as if it's not discovered yet. That's kind of like one of the premises of the video as well. So we're going to be taking this into account, these actual just price changes and everything like that. We're going to be taking that into account. And we're going to be taking into account the fact that Litecoin potentially is already undervalued as well, which could help boost it in the future. So we take 1,500 divided by 2, roughly 750. So we take that percent, transpose it over here basically. We take that 1,200 days divided by 2, it's roughly 560 days. And now what makes it really interesting here is we are coming very close to those areas on the chart of how long it's actually been. So let's just take a crazy guess. We've already seen parabolic craziness over the last few days, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. Many people are actually absolutely shocked that this did not break down into a correction or pullback, and many people are shocked that this has not yet as well. I personally think it still might. I think it's possible. Many people are just shocked already this has not pulled back. So let's get a little crazy here, because in a bull run, what you see here, continuous uptrends, right? Continuous. You see a pullback. Is it going to come down? It's going to come down. No, it doesn't. Continuous uptrend. Is it going to come down? No, it doesn't. It just continues to defy gravity. Potentially that's what's happening here, and that's also what makes this a compelling case for Bitcoin's price, and again, as well as Litecoin. Just got to set this up for Bitcoin first, and then we're going to jump into Litecoin here. So here we have this. We take the same strategy or the same kind of pattern that happened. You take Bitcoin all the way up to almost $200,000, really around $165,000, $170,000 roughly. That is if you take those gains from the all-time high of the 2013 bull market to the all-time high of the last bull market, and you transpose that from the all-time high of 2017 bull market to the next bull market. So 160, 170, 200,000 roughly, right? And in a time frame that is only within the next roughly 6.5 months, 6 months. The end of 2019, the beginning of 2020, potentially something very reminiscent of 2017. This time in 2017, May 25th, May, June, was really when things started to get exciting for Bitcoin in the crypto space. We can go back to this time, May, right around here. You see, this is when things started really getting parabolic. You see a nice pullback, but then you see absolute insanity the last 6 months, the last half of 2017. Now, if we are in for something even similar, a lot of people are not expecting that, which makes me think it's more likely. So if we would see something like that, again, I'm going to draw this line kind of without necessarily pullbacks like I just drew in there. There's probably be more some along the way, but this type of thing is completely possible. Maybe not necessarily that, but when things get parabolic, as you can see here, they get very parabolic, right? So that is kind of what I'm basing that on for Bitcoin, and so there we go with that. $160,000, $170,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. Absolutely could take everyone by surprise, could go down in history as the biggest bull market to ever exist. Bitcoin could go on to be amazing, and crypto could be the default, payments and everything around the world. And this could be looked back and remembered as the craziest part, the craziest bull run in history. We could still have bull runs after that, but potentially nothing could compare to this one that we're about to see. Now we take a look at Litecoin over here. A lot of people, first I want to talk about a short-term target for Litecoin here, and then kind of the similarity of where it could hit if Bitcoin does enter a full-fledged bear market and absolutely goes completely parabolic here. We have Litecoin here. I think around 200 to 250 is where Litecoin is going to cap out before the halving. I think that makes a lot of sense. We also have the fib pulled out here, the 0.61. I have it right here on the 1. Here's the halving right here in August. If this parabolic trend continues, I see that it could have more momentum. Here we pull this out, roughly 226% gains. I think there could be enough exuberance to get at least another 150% gains in a very short amount of time, just within the next few months. So that's for Litecoin. We're going to say 200. I think a pullback would be happening at some point before then. After then. But then we have Litecoin potentially reaching absolutely crazy all-time highs, and I think this coincides. This is where Litecoin being undervalued comes in, which would make this crazy situation more likely and more possible, is that Litecoin potentially reaching $1,860, $1,900, even $2,000 again by the end of 2019. It looks crazy on this chart, doesn't it? It looks absolutely crazy. If we just draw a line just so you can kind of see maybe what something like that would look like, it would look something like this, right? You pull this back, and this doesn't look too crazy compared to the past. And the thing is, what if we're defying the past? What if this is the craziest bull run in history? This is nothing. This is not even that crazy. $2,000 by the end of 2020. So that basically sums up the video. I hope you enjoyed the Bitcoin part, because all of the Litecoin portion was kind of largely based on that, which I think makes the most sense. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.